me, I'ma lead by example. This is my world, I just took it by the handful.
So this video is about mental awareness. If you suffer with mental illness or know someone who suffers with mental illness or disorders, this video, I hope, helps you greatly. This video is going to give you some things that people in general should know about mental illness. The first thing that I would have everyone know is that it is extremely real, regardless if you can see it physically. Unlike a broken arm or a broken leg, this cannot be seen. There is no physical clue for mental illness. It is more emotional and psychological, considering it is in the mind and in the brain. But that does not make it any less real than any other ailment. The second thing that I would want everyone else to know is you are not alone. Unfortunately, mental disorders are increasing in numbers every year by a large margin. No matter what we think we know about mental disorders, things change daily, and everyone's unique to their own experience. This makes it very difficult to help one another, but I feel like if we put ourselves in each other's shoes, it shouldn't be as big of an issue as it is. We need to stick together as humans and as people and as loving creatures so that we can get rid of this, or at least make it bearable for everyone around. Now, the third thing I would want everyone to know is that it is extremely uncomfortable, not just for the person who is suffering with it, but those who are around them. Other than the person suffering with it, it mostly affects those who are closest to them, such as loved ones, friends, spouses. They have to go through something completely different than us. They have to watch their loved one or their friend go through things that they can't understand completely. The unfortunate thing about mental disorders, that it is extremely hard to convey to someone else. You have all these thoughts rushing in your head. You might have all these emotions all at the same time. It's confusing, it's scary. We can't really communicate very well with what is happening inside our head. It is a life that is very troubling and is hard to live without those around you that can support you. I personally want to thank those who are around me, because if it wasn't for them, like this morning when I felt like I was about to have a mental breakdown, my wife was there to encourage me and to help me through the day. So the thing you should know is you should have support. My support is my wife, my family. It is still hard to convey what I am feeling. It is getting increasingly easier for them to understand because of all the years that we've had to deal with this. Another thing that you should know is that you are loved. It is extremely important to remember that you are loved, even if it does not feel like it at the time. You might feel like you're all alone. You might feel like you're isolated. No one cares. No one loves you. But that's just your mind playing tricks on you, because you are loved and you are cared for and cared about. Whether you have it told to you physically or shown it to you physically, you still are loved. It might be your best friend, your wife, your husband. It might be your kids. It might be anyone that you've ever met or about to meet. That's the biggest thing, is this is only temporary. The day is so short compared to your lifetime. So today you might not feel loved, but that does not necessarily mean tomorrow you won't. You might feel so much love tomorrow that you are on top of the world, but yet you can't see that because we are in today and today only, and that's the only thing we can focus on. I think it's important for us to remember that it is only one day. Now, if it lasts more than a day, then you need to realize this is only 1 week or 1 month or 1 year. Our life is a lot longer than the time that we can process at one time. Because you're not loved or you don't feel loved today does not necessarily mean that's how it's going to be for the rest of your life. It won't. The odds are completely in your favor of finding love or being shown love, whether it's from a stranger, someone you know. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard to remember these things, especially when you're suffering so much at one time. You're feeling so many different things, especially depression. Depression is an extremely scary thing because it isolates you. You get so depressed and you think that everyone's out to get you or that they all are talking bad about you. It isolates you and you feel like there's nothing in this world worth living for at certain times in your life. Well, fortunately, you're wrong. There's always things to live for, whether you know it at the time or not. You have no idea what you have in store 5 years from now. It could be a family. You could be going on the trip you've always wanted to go on. You could have your dream job by then. You never know. So you can't put your life on the line for this moment and this moment only, because it is extremely short and temporary. I know this because in the 6 years that I was locked in my room and kept everyone out, I had all these thoughts and I've had all these feelings, and I felt like this was my life and there was nothing worth living for. Luckily, nothing came about those thoughts. I got help. I'm living a life that I love. I have a beautiful family. I have a great job. I have all these things that I would never have been able to experience if I let my emotions and my rash decisions dictate what I did at that time. Now, if you have any of these thoughts, I implore you to go seek help, talk to someone, call the suicide hotline. There is so much worth living for that you cannot see at this moment because of all the things that your brain is telling you and that your mind and your emotions are dictating because of this exact moment. You are loved. And if you need someone to tell that to you, I love you and you are precious and you are full of potential in this life and you can do anything and everything that you want to do. You just cannot live constantly in this moment and this moment only. You need to understand that there are multiple moments, some good, some bad. Most of them, though, if you take away from it, learning about it, can only increase in your happiness and in your understanding of the world for future endeavors. You are going through something right now that might not necessarily be the easiest thing in your life. According to what I had to go through, I know for a fact that it's not that easy. So these are the things that you need to know. One, that it's extremely real, regardless if you can see the physical ailment or not. It's hard on not just you, but it's also hard on those around you. It's awkward. You are loved. And this is only temporary. Whether it feels like that or not, it is. And I can promise you that. Those who do not suffer mental disorders but have people that they care and love about do, I ask you to just stay with them, to understand that they might not be able to convey what they're feeling, or they might not be able to show how they're feeling. And sometimes they might snap on you, or they might get hostile because of the emotions that are inside, that building up and building up until they snap. But that does not mean that they don't need love and they don't need passion and caring for. You all are strong. You're all full of potential. You have a life worth living. You have a life worth exploring. Don't let today dictate how your life is going to be. Now, if you need help, I suggest you go and find someone close to you or someone who's experiencing the same thing, or go see a professional such as a counselor, a therapist, a doctor, a psychiatrist, or go, if you need even more immediate help, do what I had to do, and I had to go to a mental hospital. Now, the stigma on mental hospitals are extremely wrong. Yes, most people think, oh, you got to be crazy. If you go there, people are going to think you're a nutter or anything like that. It is not true. Medical advancements in the last 30 years have progressed so much that it is worth going to, because if I didn't, I would either be still in my room or dead, and I would not be living the life that I am now. And I'm extremely grateful that I was able to go. Despite my fears, despite my protests, I still went, and I could not be happier that I did. I can guarantee you that it's going to feel awkward, it's going to be scary, it's going to be all these different things, because you're changing your life. You haven't talked to anyone in weeks or months, maybe even years like me. It's awkward, it's strange, it's scary, it doesn't feel right. Your mind's going to prey on you, your body's going to act weird. But just know that you got to calm yourself down. I know, easier said than done, I know. And realize this is necessary. We're so comfortable with not being out there, not being out of our comfort zone, because our mental disorders have confined us into such a small world that we're not used to the real world anymore. And that takes time, that takes patience. But this is the stuff you need to know in order to make a next step. Because if you don't take the next step, this temporary might be a little more temporary. But that temporary that could have lasted only 2 or 3 weeks might last 2 or 3 months if you don't seek help. Now, you might never seek help and get past it yourself in like 6 months. Great. I mean, awesome. Seriously. But for most of us, we need help constantly. Even if we get past the biggest hurdles in our life, such as mental disorders, it's still an ongoing fight. Remember, you are loved. You are cared for. It is your mind telling you otherwise. So once again, these are the things that I think that everyone should know about mental disorders. We need to come together and come to an understanding of what mental illness and mental disorders really are. As long as you keep these things in mind, all that's left for you is to take the next step to recovery, to the next step to mental freedom. You're strong. You've been through this much already. You can go a little longer. This temporary feeling will subside and it will stop. Unfortunately, I know for firsthand that is extremely hard to make a decision because of all the mental things going in your head and going on in your mind, whether it's intrusive thoughts or it's paranoia or it's doubt. I understand. I really do. And I am here for you. If you want to leave a comment or a question or just complain or just pour your heart out, leave a comment. I'm going to read it. I'm going to try to do everything I can in order to support you and your step to recovery and mental freedom. Because I live by a motto now, is to love life, love others, and love myself. Because in order to love others, I have to love myself. And in order to love life, you have to love others. Otherwise, it's just going to be a very hateful and not very fulfilling world that you live in. This is all information from someone who's gone through it, who's been there, who's done this. I want to help you and motivate you and inspire you any way that I can. Subscribe, because I'm going to have videos out that will be specific for whether it's anxiety, depression, OCD, bipolar, anything and everything that has to do with mental or physical. And there will be videos that hopefully that inspire you to go out. And I want to show you what you can be doing. There's a whole new world out there, and it is calling for you. It really is. Now, if you are suffering for major depression and you are having suicidal thoughts, or the number in the description for the suicide hotline, seek help, because this feeling is temporary. And I know once you get past this time in your life, you're going to look back and be like, thank God that I didn't do this, because I am living the life that I've always wanted and I've always dreamed of. So I love you guys. Be safe, seek help, talk to someone. We're stronger than this because you've already gone through so much. I love you guys. So remember, love life, love others, love yourself. Love you guys.